Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel on the chapstick today because we got stuff going on. This is another subscriber request and we're doing it for Vlogmas, and this is from Tanya. Hey girl, hey! How you doing? Are you staying whimsical and letting your inner whimsy shine? Okay. Alright. She wanted me to do the same categories that I did for my blush tag video, but for eyeshadows and for lippies. I don't have a huge collection. I really don't. Like, not by any stretch of the imagination. And so I'm going to do lippies first because those will be the ones to knock over before I get to the eyeshadows, which are stacked up right here. So, and I think I have them backwards. No, I don't. Okay, so the categories, I will list the categories below. And to find my blush tag, you can look in my tag story time something or other playlist. But the first one is newest. My newest additions to my lippy collection is the Black Panther lippies. These are all the Black Panther lippies, and I got this one and this one at first. No, this one and this one at first. And then I went back and got this one and the lip gloss. So I did. So those are my newest. Excuse me. My most expensive would be Pat McGrath glosses and or the Nessa Myricks Color Fix that I will use for lip shades. However, I did purchase them both on sale, which means they wouldn't be the most expensive. And most of my stuff I do get on sale. So my most colorful would be my lip gloss set. Because when I was looking at these questions, like for lipsticks, I was like, some of the questions didn't seem to fit. And so that's why I'm showing you some lip glosses as well. So the third one is most colorful. The most colorful would be the gloss set from Nomad from the Fête de Provence collection. And these are what those shades look like. Most underrated. The same thing. A lot of people passed on these, or even if they received them in PR, they said they were just going to give them away because these weren't their colors. But for me, put them over a dark lip, a black lip, a dark brown lip, or a red. This one here, Rosé, is over. I was hoping it was going to be red, but it was pink. But that's over this. And so I think these are underrated in how you can use them. This one comes off like a tan. And I believe this one is Jasmiel, which means honey. So it is the color of honey. And so I was really just wanting people to give them a shot, just to give them a chance. Even if they're not your shades, if you put them over something else, they may be your shades. And so I like them, and I kept them. And I have a secret, but I'm not going to tell you. But yeah, just stay tuned. Read stuff that's down below, not particularly this video, but just in general, read my description box. And also make sure you're going to my channel page to look at my community tab in case what I'm posting isn't popping up in your feed. And I haven't posted anything lately though, but like a week or so ago, there's something going on. There's two things going on over there. Nostalgia. What would cause nostalgia for me is the MAC products, because early in my YouTube journey, not even that, early in my makeup journey, after I stopped going to drugstore, one of the first places I went was Sephora, and then to Ulta, and then to MAC. And so it's kind of nostalgic to me. And I do find myself now actually checking for MAC stuff. And so that's kind of new. Well, not new, maybe like 2 years old, but which is ancient in the beauty world. The other one is Everyday. MAC, black lip. It would be the Fenty Stunner in Uninvited, but they don't make it anymore. And when that one turned, it was rancid. But this is the color of it. This is black. This is my most used. Sometimes I use it alone. Sometimes I top it with something else. Sometimes I use it for an ombre look. But yeah, that would be my most used. I skipped something. Where am I? Nostalgic MAC. My oldest. I don't have anything that's my oldest because I don't keep stuff past when it's supposed to be kept. And if something isn't working for me, I do try to find it at home. If it's a lip product and I'm not using it, I do end up just trashing it. And not like within a month or two, but I'm talking about 5, 6, 7 months down the road. And so I don't have anything that's old. And I'm looking, because my lip stuff is over here. Yeah, nothing's old. Every day. Yeah, I did skip. So this would be every day, the black one. Most affordable. I get stuff on sale. Oh, I do have a most affordable. NYX Butter Gloss. And I'm starting to have an issue with saying things are affordable, because if somebody can afford it and they buy it, it's affordable. And so affordable is a relative term. What might be affordable for me may not be affordable for someone else. And so, yeah, so I find myself getting away from that word. I missed something over here. Brings back the most memories. Again, that would be MAC stuff, because it takes me back to my earlier years with makeup. And also Stila, one of the first brands that I actually used was Stila. So I do have a few of their Beauty Boss glosses, and I really like those. And so I don't really feel nostalgic about makeup. Like, it's not like, oh my gosh, that brings back such great memories. It's just like, okay, that was one of the first brands that I really liked. And I really liked them because that was the first brand to match me as far as foundation. And once they matched me to the foundation, I'm like, okay, what else you got that I can try? And so I was really turned on to Stila from that, because other places weren't able to match me. And so that's how I first fell in love with Stila. And then from there, I went to MAC. And so, but it's not really like a warm and fuzzy feeling. But with MAC, for some reason, I do kind of feel like I'm going back to my roots, even though that wasn't my first love, so to speak. And maybe because with MAC, they had more products that I liked than Stila did. Stila, it was the foundation. The blushes was, it was okay, but I liked MAC blushes more. I liked MAC shadows more. And I used Stila shadows for a long time. And I remember asking on my YouTube channel back then, what do you guys recommend that I try? Because I was still new to makeup. And they said, well, since you like Stila so much, you might like the Volux Pearl formula from MAC. And that's what got me over to the MAC store. And you know, I did like the Volux Pearl shadows. I like their other shadows. And then I'm like the highlighters, the bronzers, the blushes, the glosses. So Stila was like, see you, sis. But, and so if anything, MAC does hold fond memories for me, even though Stila was my first love in makeup. Worth the hype. What's worth the hype? I'm gonna say, for me, you know what? I do have something here, and it's going to serve for two categories. And I have other stuff sitting here, and I'm like, why is it here? And I think it was also with memory, more MAC products. These are from the Keith Haring collection. So there's a black, a blue, and a yellow. And I did purchase, you know, all three. Yeah, I'm realizing I have a lot of MAC lippies over here. Like, what's happening? And there's one that I didn't show you, so I might as well show you all the other ones, right? Yeah. And so, worth the hype. This is the Dose of Colors Nematang collection. I got the chocolate one. You have a liquid lipstick, you have a gloss, you have a bullet lipstick, and a lip liner. It's worth the hype if you really struggled trying to find a true deep brown. And that was an issue for a lot of people of color that were more melanated than I am, because they just weren't working. And so they're worth the hype if you're looking for a quote-unquote nude set. And nude is a relative term, because if you're more melanated than I am, these shades would be nude on you. And what's freaky as hell to me is that you see, this is the liquid gloss. You see that, I mean the liquid lipstick, and this is the gloss. This is the bullet lipstick. How the hell is this nude and this is nude? And it does come with a chocolate liner. So I guess you line and fill in your lips and then put this on it. But this, for me, I wore it recently in a video for Vlogmas, and it just like blanked out my lip. It was like putting concealer on my lip. And so that was just confusing to me. Like, how is this nude and this is nude too? It's not. And so it was confusing to me. But anyway, I do like the formula. For looks like that, when I need a nude lip, it does serve a purpose, but I don't like a blanked out. I want you to look at me and be like, oh yeah, she has lips. Not like, what's wrong with her lips? Are they there? You know what I'm saying? So I would say that this is worth the hype if you're looking for a nude set and you are more melanated than I am. Also not worth the hype, the same set, because I only wanted the liquid lipstick and the gloss, and this is only sold as a set. And even looking at reviews, a lot of people were saying, oh, my lip liner's running low, I need another lip liner, but you can only get the lip liner if you buy the whole set. I know, I purchased the whole set. It was either 50% off or 30% off, and it was for National Lipstick Day, and then time went by and it was on sale 30% off again, so I purchased it. But I would not purchase this full price because I only wanted these two products, but then I have this dusty washed out lipstick color and a lip liner. And so it's worth the hype if you're looking for a nude set and you're more melanated, minus this, because this I don't know how that's supposed to be nude. It's nude on me, but these are rich chocolate brown on me. It's beautiful, I think. And a lip liner. So in the sense that you can only purchase it in a set, to me makes it not worth the hype, because you're not going to use them all equally. You're not, unless you're the type, you put on your lip liner, then you put on a liquid lipstick, and then you put the gloss on top, or put on the liner, fill your lips in, put on the bullet lipstick, and then put the gloss on. Unless you're using at least 3 of these at the same time every time you use them, you're going to run out of one quicker than the other ones, and then what? You got to buy a whole nother set for that one piece? That's what I don't like about it. So to me, that's what makes it underrated, because I didn't even want all 4 of those. And in real life, like outside of social media, I don't know people that's into makeup as much as I am, so I can't even really pass it off. And so what I ended up doing is just giving it away to YouTube friends, like that blanked out lipstick thing. But anyway, so that to me is why that's worth it and not worth it at the same time as far as hype wise. My fave from favorite brand, Steelers Stunners. Yeah, got 3 left. Most used, where am I at? My most used, back to this black matte, retro matte liquid lip color, and this is in Caviar, because as I said, I'll wear it on its own, I'll put it on, I'll do an ombre look with it, I'll top it with a dual chrome or multi-chrome shadow, or with a dual chrome or multi-chrome gloss. So that would be my most used. Most disappointing, this is sad. This is Queen Nabla, and this was gifted to me along with 2 other liquid lipsticks from Erica. These are dry on me. And y'all know I'm a chapstick hoe, so y'all know my lips are not dry. Y'all know my lips are not dehydrated or anything. And even when I do wipe off chapstick before I put on a lippy, I don't completely like wipe all of it off like I would with a paper towel when I was scrubbing because I was doing lip swatches. But even just wiping some off, it's still some residue of chapstick on my lips. This, it went on patchy, so I do thin layer, wait, let it dry, another thin layer, wait, let it dry, because if I kept trying to get it even, it was just moving. It was very patchy and it was sticky. And so I'm thinking, okay, let me just give it time to dry. 5 minutes later, still sticky. I'm like, oh. And when I went to take it off, it didn't want to budge. So even though it felt sticky, it was dry to the point where even wiping with a paper towel, the paper towel was shredding on this. It was not taking it off. So I said, okay, let me get, a cotton square, drench it with micellar water. The cotton square was shredding. Like this is like cement, y'all, for me. And so I said, okay, let me get a makeup remover wipe, drench that with micellar water, and I was able to get it off, but I had to do so much rubbing. And by the time I got it off, my skin was flaking on my lips. My skin was cracked and flaking, and it was sore. My lips were so sore, it was painful. So what I do, slather on a bunch of chapstick, throughout the day and before I go to sleep for days. And after like 2 days, my lips were fine. But this right here, it jacked up my lips, y'all. And it pains me to say that because it was a gift. And one of them she sent me was a black one. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm excited. And I did use it for a video. And that's when I realized how hard it was to get off and how my lips was like, no. It was painful. Like my lips, you would have thought I was in the Arctic without any lip balm for 2 months straight. That's how cracked and flaking my lips were. It was horrible. Okay, so moving on. So I got the lip stuff over there. I was going to do this in a separate video, but we're just going to keep on rolling because this is Britannia. Hey girl, hey. And so we're going to do eyeshadows now. This is going to be fun. Actually, that was kind of fun too, but I got kind of mixed up with stuff that I set out. So my newest, wait a minute, is it? Yeah, because I didn't do my haul video yet. Martine Cosmetics Mission Triple X. Oh, it excites me. That's my newest palette. I'm gonna have all of this stuff to put away. My most expensive in general, not Circle Loco, but just in general, my most expensive would be, I feel like I'm yelling, Natasha Denona. And I do get them on sale. And I think the lowest I've paid was maybe like 80 bucks for one. And the same for Pat McGrath. I get them on sale too, so I'm only spending 80 something bucks for that too. So Natasha and Pat would be my most expensive, even though at 80 bucks, it's still expensive. My most colorful, Nomad, what is this in English? Mount Verde Club Forest. This is my most colorful. You can see why. Like this, yeah, she got some popping shades. Most underrated. No more available. No longer available. It's not available anymore. This is Natasha Denona Eyeshadow Palette 10. I think she was experimenting with palettes because after this one, she started doing her 15 pan palettes. And this is the only eyeshadow palette that has 10 pans in it. But I think it's underrated. Is that where we are? Yeah. I did not have my eye on this. It was $95. I didn't pay any attention to it. I was on her website one day and I clicked the special offers link. Took you to a special offers page. This was $45. I'm like, shit, I like her formula. I'll get it. This is all metallic. I've done complete eye looks with just this palette. Didn't feel the need to pull in another shimmer. Some of these mattes, they do blend out. I'm sorry, some of these metallics do blend out into a matte. And so I did not feel like I needed to go elsewhere for a matte. And every shade in here works for me. And so I do think this is underrated. I didn't see or hear a lot about it. By the time I saw it, it was already years old, I guess. But even looking on YouTube, there were not a lot of reviews about it. So I do think this was just underrated. The shades are gorgeous. And so I don't know what it was. And it may have just been the price. Because when you're going back 3, 4, 5 years, who's paying $95 for an eyeshadow palette? But $45, hell yeah. But yeah, I really enjoy this palette. I do. And I love the formula. And I will continue to use it until it expires. And none of these are the cream to matte formulas. And so I think it will last a little bit longer than her 15 pan palettes. Nostalgic MAC. And this, most of this, well, 4 of these shades are shades that I was able to pick for free for my birthday a couple years ago. And again, what I was saying earlier about MAC, like it's taking me back to when I fell in love with MAC. And so every time I use MAC now, I just kind of feel like I'm going back to my roots in a way, even though the roots really was Stila, but the Stila roots grew over into the MAC tree. So that's that. My oldest palette is right here in front of me. I used it for this look, and this is the last time I'm using this one because it is starting to turn and my eyes are burning, is the Natasha Denona Biba palette. And I love this one. I do have a backup. And I believe it's the cream to powder and the creamy matte formulas that turn because of whatever makes it emollient that way. And so I knew from Leela, which I used a year after it had expired, and it was it was horrible. And so I know this one is on its way. This one expired in May, and this is December. And so because my eyes are burning from that, this is the last time I'm using this one. So if you do see it again, it'll be a newer one, but I'm gonna wait to open it because I have other stuff here, and I'm liking having one less palette over here because I was running out of space. Everyday, an everyday palette for me would be Natasha Denona Metropolis palette. I was hoping it was going to go on sale for Black Friday or something. This to me is an everyday palette, and some of these shades are not original to this palette, and I believe it's one of these two. And this one I just took out because, not just now, but, excuse me, so rude. It was a Chroma Crystal, which I hate, and so I just took that completely out. This palette, this looks like it would look like that, but on my lids it don't. This to me is an everyday palette because you can do neutrals. These right here, you can do grungy, these greens. I do have a playlist for every palette I'm showing you. So if you want to see what I'm talking about, check that out. And then you have these dark shades here. This one is green, this is blue, this is like a deeper blue or something like that. Then you have a lighter blue. You have some more neutrals. You have some rust shades, rust colors, oranges, reds. You got this nice little yellow up here. And you got this nice, I think that's claret. Am I lying? Am I lying? Am I lying? Am I lying? That's, wait a minute. Yeah, that is claret. And so to me, this is everyday because, and not that I know what everyday looks are, because to me a look is a look. But for me, everyday is a palette I can pick up on any day and do a look. And if I want to do neutral, I can. If I want to go grungy, I can. If I want to go deep, I can. If I want just, you know, the red tones, berry tones, I can. If I want to do whatever I want to do. So to me, this would be every day. And this used to be a palette I traveled with because I wouldn't have to think, okay, with that shirt, you know, I'll use that palette. That outfit, I'll wear that palette. This palette to me has everything in it. And one of the complaints was there were some similar shades in here, but they were shades that I used. And so I didn't mind it. And I went back and forth for a while. Would I repurchase it? Would I not? And then I thought I wouldn't. And then I said, you know what? I will. And this expired in September, so it has a few more months left because this does have some cream to powder and creamy mattes in here. And I was really hoping it was going to go on sale because I was going to buy another one. I really do like that palette. Where are we? Most affordable. Again, here we are with affordable. What you can afford is affordable. But thinking price-wise, on a lower end of the spectrum, I don't have drugstore eyeshadow palettes. They don't friggin' agree with me. And I'm tired of experimenting with them and them not working, and then trying to be like, hey, do you want this palette? Or throwing it away. You know, because even if it's, you know, $12 palette, if I'm throwing it away, that's $12. And stuff is costing way too much these days, including gas, to be throwing palettes in the trash. But number-wise, I would say the Rock and Roll Beauty palettes would be affordable. And I think they were $20-something. On their website, if you sign up for the first time, you get 20% off. And so both of these are in my most affordable category, even though, as I said, what's affordable to whoever purchases it, that's affordable, period. Memory again will be MAC, and I'll explain that. So we're going to keep on moving. Worth the Hype. This is going to be like the Nima Tang nude lip set. Worth the Hype and Not Worth the Hype. The Natasha Denona Safari palette. This palette, if you look on YouTube, oh, this expired a few months ago too. This has always had like a chemical type factory, something metallic, metal smell to it. And I thought it was because it was new. And so I aired it out. I left it like this for like 3 days and it still smelled the same like when I first got it. Worth the Hype. The reviews on YouTube, people either loved it or they hated it. It's patchy, it don't blend, it don't do this, it don't do that. Other people like, I love it, it's great. And so I was like, it's too mixed for me to want to take that chance. And this is one of her, was one of her, it's no longer available, $129 palette. So I'm like, I ain't buying it when them reviews are so mixed like that. It popped up on somewhere, half off, $64.50. I'll try it. And I liked it. The first few looks I did, I was kind of like, I don't know if it was the brush I used or I don't know what it was. But after the first couple looks, I'm like, I really like this palette. The shades for me work fine. They blend fine. They go on fine. This is one of her older palettes, meaning older formula. Like there's no creamy mattes. There's no cream to powders. These are just regular mattes. And maybe that's what people weren't understanding or liking. Maybe they were used to the newer formula, the creamy mattes, the cream to powders. And even with those, people either seem to love them or they're just like, they're indifferent about it, or they may just flat out hate them. I love it. I love the creamy mattes and her cream to powder formulas, and those are my favorite formulas from her brand. But these are none of those. These are just regular mattes, and so maybe that's why. But I think it is worth the hype. It was a learning curve after using her creamy mattes and cream to powders to going to her having regular mattes. It's like, what? But then using it for what it is, they worked really well for me. They went on well, they blended well, they layered well. I did not have any issue with this palette. So for those reasons I stated, worth the hype, but then also not if you're used to her more, I don't really want to say recent, because she said cream to powder and cream matte formulas for years and years. But anyway, so that is that one. My fave from my favorite brand, Martine Cosmetics 669 palette. It leaves me speechless. I have a playlist on this too, actually on all of these palettes I'm showing you. Every time, man, every time that palette just steals my words. It's just, it gives me all the feels, and I don't even have the words to explain it. The last one, oh, most used. What is my most used? I don't have a most used palette, and I'll tell you why. When I was working, I did wear makeup every day. And so I was making sure to use different palettes and rotate through palettes like I do now. And because my collection is small, I think I have 50 palettes, not including my whole stuff I didn't show y'all yet. And I do make sure to rotate through my palettes, even if I'm doing a palette comparison, one look on this eye, one look on that eye. I do make sure to use my palettes. And so I don't have a most used. My collection is small enough where all of them are my most used. Sorry, Tanya. Most disappointing. This was a little tricky. This y'all know when I get the stuttering, like I'm trying to figure out how to say stuff. I almost picked, is this the one? I almost picked, I think this might have been it, Fête de Provence from Nomad. Because these here were ashy on me. I like the looks that I did, but it was work for me to get these to not look ashy. There was at least one look, and I think I called it, "Are we going to the club?" Because I layered one of these two over the black or something, and it was just, it was my vibe. Okay, the dark, smoky, you know. But for the most part, it's like, So I was going to pick this one, but because I can work with all of these and not have them look ashy, even though all the looks were not my favorites, and some I wouldn't do again, this wasn't my most disappointing. My most disappointing is the Nomad Cosmetics Orient Express. Reason being, I have Venice Simplin, which had 9 of these 18 shades in it, and I really liked it. And 2 of the lighter shades in that palette, of course, weren't here. They showed up ashy on me, but then I did extra blending, put something else on top of it, whatever, it was fine. And I kept eyeballing this, and some foundation shades we wear the same, she said she was hesitant to buy it, excuse me, and then she bought it and she liked it, because she was concerned too about the lighter shades. But when she got it, she said she used those more than she thought she would. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I bought it, not so for me. There's at least this shade, Guilty 12, I will never use. No matter what I do with it. It looks ashy. This one here is borderline ash. I have to layer it or just put it like on the fringes of another color. This one is borderline ash, but if I put it next to this one or use it for blending and then put something on top of it. So I have to layer basically. If I'm using this shade or this one, I have to layer it. And I don't like having to layer a shade just so it doesn't look ashy. And also, you see this shine? The first time I ever dipped the brush in here, that's what it did before I even put the brush on my eyelid. This hard panned as soon as the brush swiped through it. That was disappointing too, but I'm like, okay, let's still just use the palette and see. And I have used every shade in here. Some looks I liked, some looks I didn't, but just knowing that these two shades, this one, and even this one to some extent, and this one, so there's like 4 shades in here. They just look ashy on me. And as I said, I don't want to need to layer a shadow just to use it without looking ashy. You know what I mean? And so this was my most disappointing. And I should have known because I debated for a couple months on whether to get this or not. And that should have told me. Anytime I'm trying to, well, not trying to, but I'm talking myself into it, well, blah, 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 blah. And then so-and-so said, da, 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 when my gut was like, you have 9 of the shades. You like the looks you did. Stick with that. Why do you need 9 more shades? And so I did that to myself. I'm still learning to listen to myself. And I encourage you all to listen to yourself as well. And that is it for this tag video. I will list the questions below if you want to do it for your blush palettes. And I do have a blush tag with these questions, as I said earlier, in my tag playlist. If you want to do them for blushes, if you want to do them for eyeshadows, if you want to do them for lippies, face palettes, brushes, face primers, foundations, for those of you who have a whole bunch. I'm looking at all my stuff. All of my stuff is right here and I love it. And that's what ensures I use it, is because I can see it, which means I'm not going to forget that it's there, even though some stuff I do. So then I end up tossing it because it's like, if I keep forgetting you're here, apparently you're not that important to me. Anyway, we're going to go. Thank you, Tanya, for this suggestion. I hope you all enjoyed this video. And you will see me. Why am I breathing all heavy? Because I'm a troll, damn it. That's my excuse for everything. Because I'm a troll, damn it. You all will see me in the next video for Vlogmas. Thank you for being here and enduring. And thank you all for enduring my shenanigans. That's how a proper troll speaks.